At first glance, it looks like any other LA morning news show.
洛杉矶现场热力传递，洛城活力早餐与您开启新的。
But Power Breakfast is just a little bit different from the rest.
早安，你好，洛城活力早餐让您天天活力旺盛。
The new show from LA 18, one of Southern California's Asian language TV stations, launched earlier in March, and it's already had some special visitors. News outlets have been cutting back lately, but LA 18 believes right now is the perfect moment to start Power Breakfast. It joins the station's evening newscast as the only local Chinese language news programs in the Los Angeles media market.
Crisis in Chinese is 危机, opportunity is 机会. There's a common word called 机 means opportunities. So when a lot of people consider crisis is a crisis per se, we consider crisis also opportunities. If we don't use these opportunities, if you don't offer more services, it's a disservice to our audience because then we will not be that competitive, especially during this economy downturn. People are cutting back their traveling expenditure. People are cutting back their adventurous buying things. So what do? Family time. They probably stay at home, watch TV, and LA18 provide free-to-air services.
They say the audience is looking for a little bit of home in the 2-hour live daily news program, which offers up-to-the-minute traffic and weather reports from their 3 hosts who grew up in China and Taiwan.
Power Breakfast is an expansion of LA18's mission to connect the viewers with their community, their culture, their language, their home country, and that's why you see the logo we have is the L18, and then there's a bridge underneath, or a smile. We like to think of it as a bridge. And the idea is that we're keeping you connected, and connected to the things that matter to you. A lot of immigrants here in the United States, they have their head is still back home, but their heart is here. And so we try to serve both of those. And so by providing language that's relevant to them in language, culturally relevant, and at the same time informative, both with local and with Asian news, they get a one-stop shop for everything.
That little taste of China every morning isn't just for ethnically Chinese people either, though.
Talking about not the first generation, not only the 1.5 generation, not only the second generation, we're targeting also the non-Asian, non-Mandarin speaking audiences, because we can see that there are more and more non-Chinese learning Chinese.
And that non-Chinese audience even includes their own control room. 2 Chinese-speaking producers sit in the back, but the floor director, broadcast producer, show director, and audio technician can only speak English. LA18 says they will depend heavily on audience feedback to offer a more balanced news program, but even deciding who that audience specifically is has been difficult.
We have satellite stories from Taiwan and China because doing Mandarin right now in United States, actually over the world, it's kind of a challenge because, Chinese, even though the same language has different ideology, people from Hong Kong speak Mandarin, people from Taiwan speak Mandarin, people from China speak Mandarin. But how do we develop a show that will satisfy all people from different countries, has a different ideology? It's a very challenging job for us. We have been trying very hard to do this.
It's not just the language that's different from other local broadcasts here, it's also the content.
Nobody can always call themselves a neutral. Nobody can hold a neutral position. So what we do is we try to show both sides of the truth. So we can tell them the true thing that's going on in our society, instead of them talking about our, how can I say this? Different perspective. Yeah.
You can see the packages we get from CNN sometimes is very one-sided against Chinese, because it's only one element, the accusations and the point of the angle of covering the stories, and also some of the things that I can watch on American television, if it's from CNN or from other media sources or AP, no matter, even though if they have correspondents on site, still has a very different angle. Because I think they're trying to find out problems. However, some of the problems are not that severe, or some of the problems are even severe than what actually is. So I don't think they're seeing the actual truth of what's going on.
But LA18 wants to emphasize that it's still a locally produced and geared TV station.
What we want to do is we really don't define ourselves as a Chinese TV station. We're an American television station. We broadcast in Chinese, but we're an American television station. Andy referenced the fact that the way our programming looks, it looks American. And that's the idea, is that we're not trying to take you back to China or take you back to Taiwan. We're trying to assimilate you here in the United States, and that's the benefit we give our audience. So we really don't pretend to be a Chinese TV station. We want to tell people this is America. This is an American television station with American content, and it connects, it goes back to that kind of that bridge, connecting the viewer to their own community and what's going on.